your host Akil on another Hoop Menu episode. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That's where all the content will be. Today we got Cam, Bree. So let's get into it.
All right, so starting off strong, we're going to start with the Iowa-South Carolina women's basketball game. Obviously, it was huge on social media, just kind of the viewing. What are your guys' thoughts, like, overall watching that game? And do you guys think that the March Madness will ever have this big a viewing as it did this year, breaking all those records?
For me, I think it's kind of, I don't want to say it's hard to say, but I think like this year was a great year for women just because of the marketing aspect of certain players like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Juju Watkins, Paige Beckers. Like I think those are like, I can't forget Cameron Brink. Like those are like girls that are trying to like take the sport to the next level. I think losing Caitlin Clark will hurt a little bit, but I think she left a good enough mark as to where, like the next, I think I would say Juju is next. Like she could take it to new heights just because of her on-court talent, and then along with the NIL, like it's helping off the court wise on social media, and it's helping the platform in multiple ways.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Obviously, Caitlin Clark got a lot of the spotlight. Had Paige not gotten hurt, I think Paige would have been a front runner for a lot of the media and spotlight that Caitlin got. But overall, Caitlin's a great player. At the end of the day, I think she did a great job of empowering the sport and with all women across the board who've been trying to do this for a long time, like expand the visibility. And Juju, with her being next up, I think she can, if not accomplish some of the same things Caitlin was able to, maybe a little bit more. She'll be able to do a little bit more. So I know the spotlight will be on her heavy, of course. But I think overall the national championship game kind of went how it was supposed to go. I think South Carolina was going to get the best of Iowa at the end of the day. Iowa hung in there as much as they could, but they just didn't really have enough. And I think the athleticism ultimately won over in that game and the toughness that South Carolina brought.
No, Akil, you make it like a really good point. Cam, you too. It's crazy to think about how, like that's all one recruiting class. Like you have Paige, you have Caitlin, you have Cam Brink that were all like 5-star like players. But Akil, do you really think it was just athleticism, or do you think maybe the rebounding? Like obviously South Carolina killed them on the rebounding. Was it more they're out jumping them, or they were just bigger, right? Like them coming off the bench.
I think rebounding comes down to a lot of times athleticism, right? Like if teams aren't boxing out at a high enough level, and you guys 6'3", 6'4", and then how tall is Cardoza? Like 6'6".
I think they're giving her 6'7", so that would mean she's really about 6'5", 6'6".
I don't know if I consider her athletic, right? She's just a very big body, but some of those other girls in South Carolina are very athletic. I mean, Ashton Watkins, she's dunking, right? So I think the athleticism kind of overwhelmed them, and then like Raven Johnson, right?
Yeah,
she was able to stay in front and play really good one-on-one defense. So I think the athleticism was the difference maker. Kayla came out 18 points in the first quarter and kind of, died down as the game kind of carried on. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, South Carolina did what they're supposed to do.
All right. And kind of talking about Caitlin here, if you're the Indiana Fever, right, being the number one pick, are you happy with how she kind of finished off playing against like more athletic players? Like you thinking about pro, obviously stronger bodies, more experience. Would you say like she probably wouldn't start for me? Like now you start having all these pressures, right? Because you're going to have this fan base, everyone, coming to watch her. It's like, what would you do if you were like, hey, I'm behind drafting the number one pick?
You got to draft her. It's you kind of have to, and her volume of shots was really the questionable thing for me, right? Like she averaged 32
in the, or was it
overall maybe 28 or something like that. So she averaged about 28 points, close to 30, off of about 30 shots. And a lot of those shots, I don't know if it was between I'm the best player on this team, so I probably should be taking some of these shots, or was it more so like forced in a sense? I know people say she made the right play a lot, but I mean, when you're being doubled or something, obviously the right play is to pass the ball. It was a lot of times I felt like she probably could have passed a little bit more without even having a double. Get 2 feet in the paint, kick out. And then don't get me wrong, she's a solid passer for the most part, but you definitely got to take her for the number 1 pick. Do I think it'll translate to the WNBA? I don't know. I really don't know. I think she'll still be a really good player. I just don't know if that coach is going to allow her to play in her full capacity.
What do you think, Cam? If you were her coach, right, or you're like, take every shot like you did at Iowa, but you got to remember you have Aaliyah Boston now, right?
Mhm.
So then that's kind of a better duo. It's like, what are you thinking?
Well, like Akil said, I'm definitely drafting her. I don't think there's any question about it. I just think it's like, how are they going to build a system around her, or is it Aaliyah Boston's team and Caitlin's coming to help her? So I think like the fact that she's going to be around more professional players, maybe she can get off the ball a little more, and maybe they can use her as okay, now you can come off pin downs, and now you don't have to be the sole ball handler and create everything for everybody. So it's just interesting to how are they going to build it around her, or is it Aaliyah Boston's team and you're the complimentary person?
Yeah.
So, as far as translating, I think like she takes a lot of shots, yeah, but I mean, if the end result is, I'm kind of living with the end result being 30 and 10. Like that's college. Is that going to happen? I'm not expecting that for her first year in the WNBA. I'm not expecting it in her second year. If her numbers are 18 and 8, like I don't think I'm upset with that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just
18
just depend on what they need her to do or what they expect from her.
Yeah,
And it kind
because
of
the Fevers, they look pretty bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been great, but they keep getting number 1 pick. So I think this is kind of like a big year for them. I mean, realistically, they don't need a Cam Brink, I don't think. Like, they have Aaliyah Boston, like, you know what I mean? Like, depending on that system. Obviously, I think they just had a recent coaching change, like, the year before. But I don't know. It could be a pretty solid team.
Wait, is this back-to-back number 1 picks?
Yeah, because Aaliyah Boston was last year, I think.
I don't know. I'm looking at this roster right now, and yeah, she might shoot 30 times. I mean,
well, because you got Lexi, Holt, right?
Lexi Holt. I mean,
she's more defense, though.
Defense, catch and shoot.
You gotta have.
Yeah, volume shooter. Aaliyah Boston. Grace Berger, not really familiar. Kelsey Mitchell, solid player from what I remember. Yeah.
I think what's most important is she going to be the only person that can create again, or she had other people that can create, so she can just sometimes spot up and catch and shoot.
I think they got a couple girls who can get paint touches and creative with the ball, so it'll be definitely interesting. I don't see her being a Luka type where she got the ball in her hands 85% of the game and got to make every play. It's hard for me to see that. Now, if she does it and she's efficient with it, by all means, she's going to have some people shutting up. And
she won't play the same amount of minutes, potentially, right? So that might be even better in terms of like, but no, it kind of goes into that topic, right? Taurasi, Kelsey Plum, like a lot of, those USA players were asked about, Caitlin Clark, especially like with this year with all these players who have huge followings, obviously Cam Brink with New Balance, like how that really translates. I know a lot of people were going back and forth with Taurasi kind of being a hater, talking about Caitlin. Obviously, she's just saying, right, what we've already said. You haven't played against a pro. I think Taurasi always is kind of like
on edge.
That same plot. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do we think Taurasi's kind of like a hater, or is she just keeping it realistic and keeping the crowd like, hey, yeah, she's great, but who knows?
What I wasn't aware of is that Diana Taurasi has always been this way. I thought it was just coming from a like, oh, like everybody's just like anointing Caitlyn, so like I'm gonna let everybody know like she ain't played no real pros yet. But if that's just her, then it's like I'm cool with it. Like it's not like she lied or anything. Like she hasn't played professionally. But the thing, like Caitlyn, didn't she already? She's gonna be on the Olympic team, right?
I think they for sure. I invited her for that.
So she's gonna get that early look at it. Like so, like Diana got to see her next week.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
She don't. I mean, y'all gonna bump.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so,
Diana didn't lie. She said how she felt, and that's fine with me. I just think my initial reaction was like, you should be like giving this college girl her flowers for like she's taking this sport, the women's basketball, to new heights that it hasn't seen. Like I think everybody should be trying to get behind her and pushing her as far as she can. But Diana didn't lie about what she said.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, I saw a clip today of Diana when she bumped Kelsey Plum to the ground on the drive, and how Kelsey Plum was just laughing about it. That's just her competitive spirit, and yeah, it's hard like to let, or she could have gave her flowers maybe a little bit more, and I'm sure she's done that in closed doors and whatnot. But as far as in that moment, like that was a great moment to like have some, a competitive vibe to it. Like, yo, like she bumping now, but wait till she get to the WNBA. Like we gonna see what she about. And I think Caitlyn should just continue to welcome that challenge. I think that's what she probably did when she saw the video. She probably didn't think, oh, Diana's a hater. Like, what's she talking about? She probably like, all right, yeah, we gonna see. And when they face each other, then we gonna see. I'm sure Diana probably won't be guarding her, but I'm sure they'll match
don't
up.
want to guard her. She's gonna want her like immediately.
We're gonna see if they match up a couple times in transition or on the switch in the half court or something like that. But no, I like it. I like it, and I definitely love where the women's game is, and I love the fact that Diana also has that competitive edge on her, still at 41 and ready to take the challenge.
But if you are Caitlyn and you see that, like, what is your like initial reaction like? Because I'm pretty sure like Diana, somebody should look at it like this is like the GOAT, like this is like the standard for women's basketball.
Yeah.
And it's like you get I'm seeing her and like I look up to her and it's like that's how she feels about me. Like I see both sides of it. Like when I see her, I gotta go at her, but it's like damn, like.
Well, because if you even watched the game where it was like Sue Bird and them, like Sue was like, who are you taking number one? Like if Paige was going, and it, Sue was like, like I'm gonna take Caitlyn, and Diana's just sitting there and she's like, nah, I'm taking Paige all the way. Mind you, they went to UConn, so like I'm not surprised by that answer.
Yeah.
But then even like Brianna Stewart, if we call Caitlin Clark one of the greats, she's like, well, she has to win a national championship. Right. That's everyone's like kind of common goal, which is what she said. Now, obviously that doesn't take it away, but Cam, you could kind of elaborate a little bit more on what you think on that.
My thing with the championship thing is like with college, it's more like it's a team. Like we're not sitting here talking about Iowa if it's not for Caitlyn the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. Like I'm expecting the hugest drop off from Iowa next year. But it's like Brianna Stewart, when you look to her left, like I don't know her teammates off the top of my head, but I'm sure it was 4 or 5 WNBA players right there.
Yeah.
That's what all the UConn teams, like most of you guys have had 4 or 5 first round draft picks, probably lottery picks on your team. Like Caitlyn taking that program from the ground and propelled it to back-to-back national championship appearances. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, how many greats have won national championships in college?
Right. Well, because you think about it too, when Kelsey Plum took that, season record, however many years ago, right? She didn't win a national championship, but she also didn't get. Obviously, the media is way different than what it was now and things like that. But a lot of people weren't, giving her props. They expected her to be like average when she first got into the league. So.
Yeah, nah, it's kind of funny that she did bring up championships and being great. I mean, I guess that's part of it, but like you said, like at college, it's so hard within that 4 to 5 year gap to get you one, and you gotta have a well-oiled team. Like if it's just really you and a couple good role pieces, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because you're still fighting with, at the end of the day, women's basketball. it's not. I wouldn't say it's too top heavy, but it is very, top heavy. You got some of the mid major programs that can kind of compete with the high major programs, but after that, it's kind of like you kind of have an idea of what to expect from everyone else.
Wait,
Yeah.
Brianna Stewart, she won 4 straight though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I mean,
Yeah, we talked
when you can say that, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's
hard. That's
and
hard.
people were upset with them dominating like that.
I guess because people trying to say like Kaylin's the best like women's college player ever. Like I guess I can see her. I guess I can see where they're like hold up, like I won. Like
Candace Parker has some crazy stats too.
Yeah.
Right.
She has some crazy numbers too that I came across.
I guess it makes sense. I mean, maybe if Caitlin's looking at this like this is okay, like I got to see all these girls. Like we're gonna see like it's good for the sport.
We gonna bump. We gonna bump. And I know Caitlin got a little asshole to her, like the good asshole in her, where she got that competitive edge. Like, all right, we gonna see.
Yeah, how she off Raven.
Yeah, like we gonna see. She got some of that in her, so I think she'll welcome the challenge for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And kind of just wrapping up this whole Caitlin, these finals, things like that. Obviously, Ice Cube was like huge for, offering her that 5 mil to go into the big 3. Now, does that go in with season with WNBA? I'm pretty sure it does. But what are your guys' initial thoughts? Like, obviously, he wanted to blow it up. I'm sure it's someone on his side who leaked how much that was going to be. He's trying to get more traction. What do you guys think about it? If you were Caitlin, would you consider it? Does that put you obviously at the top? Like, Diana, you could talk all you want about me. I'm about to get 5 mil from just playing in a big 3. What are your guys' thoughts?
Shit, my thoughts was you finna be playing eBaby Stu next week.
I don't know. I don't know. Can she do both?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what the contracts. I don't know what the contracts.
I think she could, and if the WNBA was fine with it, like the big 3 would definitely be fine with it. I think it's more so the WNBA would let her incorporate that into her contract. But I mean, it's only
if they allow her
10 weeks.
I'm taking it.
5 mil. I mean, yeah, that's
money that
where it's like you got to do it. Like some women don't see that money until year 6, 7, 8. They may not ever even see that. So
6, 7, 8 playing overseas and playing in the WNBA.
Right.
I mean, I think that's definitely something she definitely has to seriously consider.
Yeah. They talk about the big 3 physical and all. Man, I've been to plenty of big 3 games. Now, they are physical. They do play a little jail ball. But if she just catch and shoot, she'd be fine. They got the 4-point shot. I just stand on perimeter and knock it down. But they're going to be trying to attack. They're going to be trying to attack the shit out of her on defense. So that's the only thing. But other than that, I feel like, why not? Like, even if I don't know if there's gonna be like a minutes, like they wanted to play a certain amount of minutes with.
That's what I was saying. Like, if I only got to play like, what did they go to 50?
I think they go to 50.
Like, if I only got to play like half the game, like,
then it is cool. Yeah, because ain't too many people in there, and if them dudes in there trying to like really do some, like, I get being physical and I get it's basketball, but don't be overly dumb about everything now. The fact
make
that
a point,
a woman is participating.
Yeah, for sure. It's just it'll be interesting what she decides. Obviously, she only talked about it a little bit and just said, her reps are dealing with that. She's not even thinking about it. Obviously, it was when they were getting ready for the tournament. Now they're done with the tournament. Now she got to figure out what she's gonna do. But no, kind of switching over now to the men's Final Four. I didn't watch that final, right? Like I was in the gym, I wasn't doing that. But what were your guys' initial thoughts? Akil, I know you put your bracket out. You had UConn winning it. Boom, you got it. Cam, I don't know who you had winning it.
I don't know who he had. Who had?
Who'd you have?
I put my chips on Caleb Love, and he stunk it up.
Arizona.
What?
I just thought he was like, he's been there, like he's the most experienced, like he's a 5th-year guy. Like maybe he could have like a run like he had. What was that might have been his freshman year.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised UConn won. They were clearly the best team all year. Dan Hurley's offense is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The plays that he draws up are absolutely insane.
And those for your
It's
playbook, Cam?
stuff I've never seen before. Stuff I'm definitely was still. I already got them
You,
bookmarked, but I'm not surprised. I mean, they were the
yeah,
best team.
yeah. UConn was the best team. I mean, I didn't go into any of those games thinking they were gonna lose. Like, not ever. They're just too tough, too talented. Guard plays, elite, and they really defend at a high level. And Purdue, I'm surprised Purdue even made it that far. I mean, granted, yeah, they got the player of the year. He's bigger than everybody, but their guard play to me was okay. Like, they were solid, but they weren't guards that win you championships at the end of the day. They did what they did during the course of the season, though, and they had a lot of success. But Zach Edey throwing it in and getting to a jump hook, those points never add up in my opinion. So, and that's what their bread and butter was. And they're in drop coverage, and UConn's guards just eating them up. So it was an interesting battle to see, but Dan Hurley definitely has UConn going crazy.
Yeah, no, and it kind of goes back to that big guy with Purdue. Like, do we think that'll translate, getting ready for this draft? Obviously, we have Bronny getting into this draft. We definitely have some highlighted stars. Do we think, that they'll give him a chance? I'm assuming, me personally, they'll give him a chance, but I don't know your guys' thoughts as this draft starts to come together.
I don't know. This draft's so weak.
Unfortunately, I think he's earned a chance.
For
But I
sure.
think he's gonna get somebody fired if they take him early.
Yeah.
It's just the way basketball is played right now with the pick and roll is just and all the switching is just so tough. And he can't move his feet.
Yeah.
And these guards in the NBA, it's just gonna be hard for him.
Yeah.
And like Akil said, the getting if all you got is a jump hook, it's just with the way the three ball is impacting the game, it's just not you're not gonna win games that way.
Yeah.
Is there a player you would say, like in the NBA now, where it's like if you were to tell him like you should like shape your game like this person and you could have, a long career? Do you guys know of someone who you would think like maybe
Zach Edey?
Yeah.
It's unless he spends all summer with agility ladders and he got to be able to move. And then I can't. I'm not even going to disrespect Wemby and say Wemby, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a G leaguer for life.
Yeah, he might just have to go over water.
So there's no one you would say like, no, none.
The way he plays, I think it's going to take him too long to develop.
Yeah, like he's so one-dimensional, and he already 22, 23. So if he don't got no top of the key jumper or no corner three, can he play in a DHO? I don't know. I don't think he can pass that well as like from the top of the key to perimeter area. Maybe from getting double teamed so much in college, but yeah, a lot of his skill set doesn't necessarily translate to the NBA like you would want some of your fours and fives. I mean, well, your fives to play like nowadays, and there's very few five men. So it's tough to say. Somebody's gonna give him a chance at the end of the day, but yeah, it's more so he get off the ground though, which is crazy. He caught a lob this year. He got a couple blocks.
No, he definitely surprised me with his athleticism. He literally got off the ground.
Yeah, but as far as playing the NBA at that pace, it'd be tough for him.
Well, and it kind of, makes it a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, he made that comment, right? He's not a citizen of the United States. He's Canadian. He doesn't get, any of the NIL money. So it kind of puts that in perspective too, where maybe he's thinking the same thing. He kind of had the same people like in his ear, like he missed out on all this money, obviously being the player of the year. And it's like, how much time do you have, in the NBA potentially?
Yeah, no, that's crazy that I seen that too. I can only imagine being a 2-time player of the year and missing out on that money. So I didn't know that was a rule.
I didn't know that either.
I'm sure he had to be getting something under, like he got something. Like there's no way,
but not to the amount that you see
that he could have seen. Yeah,
he's obviously not getting his worth.
No, yeah, but yeah, no, it makes it kind of interesting with that. But kind of continue on with the draft. Obviously, Bronny declared he was in the transfer portal. Then he decided, I'm going to test it with no agent. Obviously, his dad is LeBron James, so it's like you don't really need like an agent. So where do you think he's going to fall? Do you think it was smart? Do you think if he goes back in the portal, would he go back to USC? Obviously, that you would love to have him back. I'm just really curious what you guys think about that.
My thing with Bronny is I think he is who he's going to be. Like we've seen what kind of player he's going to be. He's not going to get any better at scoring the ball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like he's a spot. He can make shots. He can guard. And he could distribute the ball. I think that's what he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he should.
So you say he like KCP?
I would say he's not. I don't think he's that well of a shooter. I would say he's a poor man's Drew Holiday. He's athletic. He's athletic. He can make a shot. He can defend. Maybe not at that high of a level, but maybe that can get better over time. I don't think he's growing anymore. Well, he might.
Yeah,
he might. But I just think he is who he's going to be. I don't think him going back to college will help him, but I don't think it hurts. Like he's going to get the same result.
No,
in my opinion.
Definitely.
As far as the draft, he's not a first-round draft pick. I wouldn't use one on him if he goes back to college. I mean, you can go wherever you want. I just think he's gonna get the same result.
Yeah. Nah, Bronny. That's literally who he is. At this stage, he might as well just go for it. And kind of bet on himself and continue to get better through the the NBA process and just working out with his dad, of course, and some of those trainers, because he's going to have access to the best of the best as far as resources. If he can develop like a consistent jumper at his size, he'll be all right. I mean, he'll be formidable. Like you got guys like Peyton Watson coming off the bench for the Nuggets, like Christian Braun coming off the bench for the Nuggets. They play hard as hell, and even Peyton Watson's still trying to figure out his shot, but he's uber athletic, defends long, and I don't think Bronny is as long as some of those guys, but if he can, compete at a high level, be able to catch a shoot, he'd be all right. I don't really see him being a ball screen type of guy, coming off a ball screen, creating for nobody at a high enough level like that. So he would definitely just be, the solid role piece throughout the course of his career if he can, keep it up, stay in the NBA.
It also makes me think about too, like, obviously LeBron is still doing really good for his age, his body, everything he's invested into that. Do the Lakers have to draft Bronny then? Like, I know the whole thing was that he could play with his son. I don't know personally, like LeBron's like contract, right? Bronny gets picked up somewhere else. Is LeBron making calls like, I got to get to that team? Like, obviously, Cam, you're a Lakers fan. I don't know, if you want LeBron to continue to stay, if you would like a pick to go to Bronny, but obviously that's like a big impact of why he's going now.
I, for one, would definitely. I'm over the LeBron era in LA. Like I appreciate him for coming and
he's in his time
doing what he did, but like I think it's time for us as an organization to move on. If he stays and we draft Bronny, I will not be happy. I probably will not watch that product.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I wouldn't be a fan of it. That's what I said.
What do you think?
Yeah, I get it, but then it's like, at what cost? Like, for the Lakers franchise, at least, like you guys would always, find to be a championship contender, and that don't really seem like the piece to get you to that point. So it'll be interesting, right? Like LeBron does have a lot of power. I mean, I do think that it would be a dope situation where you are playing with your son, but at what cost, I think comes down to. And the Lakers, I don't know. I think LeBron has one more year in his contract, or is he a free agent?
I think he has a player option.
Yeah, he might have a player option.
So
I don't know. It'd be crazy if he opts out to just go join his son at the same time, But he says that Bronny's, going down his own path and all that fun stuff. So we'll really see if he means what he says. But Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be a dope on paper. It would be dope on paper, but looking at it from a basketball standpoint and wanting to win games and to use a draft pick just because of that experience, I don't know if that's worth it.
I think one thing that gets looked over, and obviously like Bronny doesn't speak on it, like his dad probably does all the talking, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, we don't even know if that's what Bronny wants. Like we don't know what he wants.
Right, we never
Like
know. Yeah,
who's to say he wants to be on his dad's team? Like why would I want to be going on road trips and my NBA experience and my dad is there on every step?
that's true. I didn't
Like
even
I
think of
don't
that.
I wouldn't want that.
They're gonna be at the club together. That's crazy.
Like I'm getting hotels. My dad's in the next room over.
No, facts. That is crazy. Like you gonna low key get tired of each other.
Or
Yeah,
just
I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, now that we're kind of getting towards the end of the season, right? We're getting to playoffs. Curious on your guys, top 5 title contenders. You guys know me. Number 1 is going to be Celtics. 2 through 5, I don't care who it is. Celtics all the way, as you know. Sorry about that, Cam. Kill, if you want to start off, if you have your 5.
I mean, I'm going Dallas. Whoa, wait, hold on. Let me start over.
So number 1.
Yeah, number 1. I'm going Denver. Denver's number 1, right? They won it last year. They still have pretty much the same team. Some of those guys have gotten better off the bench. Joker's Joker, Jamal Murray. He's a killer when it's time to be one. And if Michael Porter Jr. could continue to not only score the ball but contribute in other categories like rebounding and whatnot and defending, they'll be a force to reckon with once again. I think the second team you got to say is Boston. You got JT playing out of his mind. If Jaylen Brown and them can somehow put that together consistently in the 7-game series, I think they'll be fine. But especially in the East, right? I think they no doubt get to the finals or at least the conference championship. My third team, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I think Kawhi, a healthy Kawhi, Paul George, Russ, and Harden. There's no way you shouldn't at least get to the conference championship on paper, right? I mean, they've been kind of playing inconsistent ball the last few weeks. I don't know if it's just like I'm ready to be in the playoffs, get this thing going, or what. But I think that with that core group of guys, I mean, you always have a chance. And then my fourth team, I guess I'm going to say, ooh. I want to go with the East team. Milwaukee, I'm going to be honest. I'm not really big on them. Like, they don't scare nobody. They haven't really found their footing within each other. They've lost too many games they shouldn't have. I get it. They have Giannis, so people are going to sit here and say it's hard to count them out. But I'm counting them out. I don't think they'll go very far, actually. The sleeper team, though, to watch is Sixers as they're getting healthy now, as the season's winding down. But my fourth team, did I say my fourth team?
No.
My fourth team is Dallas. Kyrie, Luka, Magic. Come on now. I mean, Kyrie and Luka are hooping. Kyrie's playing out of his mind. Ramadan Kai. Luka's arguably the MVP of the league right now. I don't see another duo playing better than those two right now. I can't name another one. So I'm gonna say Dallas because they hot right now. But they have to play the Clippers first round. That's gonna be a fade. In my fifth team, I'm going with. I'm gonna say it's gonna be either New York or Phoenix. It's funny though because I'm looking at Minnesota at the top, and I respect Minnesota a lot. Long as Cat comes back, right? With the team they got now, I'm not really banking on them doing nothing if Cat's not playing. If Cat's playing, then they'll be my fifth contender, no doubt. But I'm gonna go ahead and put Phoenix just because you got KD, Book, and Beal, and I think if they can stay healthy throughout the course of this run, I think they'll be fine.
All right, so Akil got his top 5. Cam, you've had some time. Akil gave his explanation. Give us yours.
For me, when you look at the West, you got Minnesota at the top. I think they're pretenders. Like every year, Rudy Gobert gets in the playoffs and he becomes a liability.
Yeah.
I just think every year he becomes a liability. The Thunder, they're young, inexperienced. I think that inexperience will show. So my number one would be Denver. Like I would just give them the reigning champs. Like and somebody has to beat them, and nobody has still solved the Joker problem in the league. Two would be Boston. I just think that they've been coasting all year. Uh, I think when they're healthy with Porzingis, Al Horford, and it's just a lot they can throw at you, and they can defend at least 1 through 4, and then maybe 5 with Al Horford out there.
Yeah.
Three, I would have to say I will give it to Milwaukee just because they've been there, but maybe not with this group because of Dame, but I think they've been there. But then again, they have Doc Rivers at the helm, and he's terrible with luck. My fourth team, I'm gonna put the Lakers, even though they're in the play-in. I just think if they earn a spot, like they're tough to beat.
Obviously, it's a fan of the Lakers.
They're tough to beat. Like they shown last year from they can get there if they put things together, barring health. My fifth team, I'm a big just because Kyrie's my favorite player. I'm gonna go Dallas. I think they're playing good ball. And like I've told some people in my circle that Dallas had the biggest free agency gets with PJ Washington and what was it, Gafford? And people ask me like why, like what does that do? And I was like, you give Luka another lob threat and somebody who can defend the rim, and you give him another shooter. Like I just think that was a very slept on move. I think the Clippers are pretender. They do it every year. Like I have no faith in them.
Damn.
I guess my sixth team will be Philly just because of Joel Embiid. Like, I don't think anybody out east has an answer for that except Boston, which would be the 3 ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That would be 5.
Okay. Well, obviously, Akil, you started to mention who you think the lead is, the MVP. If they announce it tomorrow, who are you going with for the MVP?
Luka. I mean, it ain't really no conversation. Luka has been the most dominant player since the All-Star break. His numbers look like 33, 9, and 9. Like that's crazy. That's
Cam,
crazy.
do you agree with that? Do you think it's someone else?
I don't disagree with the numbers. Luka wouldn't get my vote.
What?
I would give it to. I would vote on Shea.
He better, bro. They 15.
I would vote Shea just because this team went from playing last year to top 3 seed this year. They were 1 for most of the year, but now they're obviously dropping off. But he would get my vote. Not saying Luka doesn't deserve it. I wouldn't vote Jokic just because from past experiences with the NBA, with the voters fatigue and how they do that, like they're tired of the same person winning. He probably deserves it, but I would vote Shea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that. I like Shea a lot. He's definitely, gained my respect over the years, and what he can do and seeing his development. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at either of those. But I'm gonna go ahead and say Luka. I think they 16-2 since in their last 18 games too, and Luka's just been dominating, man. And I think he's the real if Anthony Edwards is the next face of the league, I think Luka's right there.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, if he's not already.
Who? The face of the league?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With him and Joker. But that's another thing, like the international players kind of taking over right now.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if the NBA brand, if they are in full support of that or not.
Well, you got to think like the guy they tried to push at first, Zion, injuries, then Ja, off the court issues.
Yeah.
And then the next guy would be Anthony Edwards, which I'm not sure. I don't know why the league's not behind that one, but
yeah, it's just great personality.
Maybe it's the market that he's in. I don't know, but They're
Yeah,
not pushing their American guys. So
they're not. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. But no, I'm excited. I think there's maybe 5 more games left before playoffs or something like that. So interested to see how these next few games go. The East is so close, and the West, some of those teams at the bottom of the West are very close on records, and seeing who wants to kind of match up with who. It's another episode of the Hoop Menu. Remember, check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It'll be in the description thing below. Trying to get up to 100 subs on YouTube. Trying to get up to 100 followers on Instagram. So if you support us, make sure you follow our personal pages and stuff too, and you'll see more, updates as this season goes by. Again, another episode of the Hoop Menu. We out.